On May 23, 1993, wax, or the discovery of television among the bees, entered the internet, projected by a cable into a wall. Inside that internet, there are no movies there. And so wax, waiting until the last frame enters the wall, then begins the first movie on the internet, to continue forever, for that is how the first movie on the internet begins, at the first frame after the last frame. A true story, and this is that movie, and in reverse. And so, we begin.
As you are aware, the internet is a DVD on a coffee cup. I could show you how that happens, how the handle of the coffee cup becomes the hole in the center of the DVD. How the interior of the coffee cup disappears into the surface of a flat disc as I spin. I am the first movie on the internet. I am inside a DVD on a coffee cup. I could show you how that happens. How the movie appears between two frames, between the front and the back of the DVD disc. I am the first frame after the last frame. I am the movie in the DVD on the coffee cup. I am wax, or the discovery of television among the bees. I am 999 years, 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 48 seconds long. And then it was dark, until dawn.
So it was the carrying only the bee television and my own thoughts that I walked out to the desert. So it was the carrying only the bee television and my own thoughts that I walked out to the desert. So it was that carrying only the B television and my own thoughts, that I walked out to the desert. So it was that carrying only the B television and my own thoughts, that I walked out to the desert.
Gravity's orientation not being a problem in some interpretations of the world. The large exhaust vat under the rocket gantry has become a hexagon exiting out to the sky. Dual Jacob legs enter left and right, and supporting the merged and emerging bodies, lifts them towards the exit. Bodies split as the mirror hexagon opens to the cloudy sky. There are noises up there, the sounds of planes trying to find their way back to the airport they forgot they left. Round and round and round. The pilots sleeping only during the occasional aerial refueling. A biplane dives towards the ground in the center of the frame, chasing frightened bats through a cloudy night, luminous to our sight. Swish pan through a cloudy blue sky. Something is falling, too fast for sight. It's Jacob. He'll land feet up. Following Jacob's feet through the scrub of the New Sinai, as the Orthodox monks of Alamogordo cheerfully call their new home, left the pyramids and the memorial stone marking the Reed Sea incident. Yes, that is a misspelling on the marker. right to Jerusalem, Constantinople, Moscow, the North Pole. At a distance, the windmill that pierced the side of Jacob's head, allowing insertion of the BTV, rotates slowly, extracting water from a well. Here art, or bad science, as it is known among scientists who know, has degenerated and become technology, doing useful everyday work here in the desert, dragging up water out of the ground. But you can still feel the glimmer of uselessness in it, which attracts your eye, your heart, your idle soul in search of either ethical encouragement or, more simply, a few moments of relaxation from the daily killing. A small trailer at the end of a phone pole, which in truth is the proto-library and living quarters of Bessarions Kellyan, or small monastery, filled with file cabinets and a small kitchen, as well as a bed and a toilet. Jacob's feet from the point of view of the living pixels, clustered swarming on the inside of the screening, staring at each, and at the images that move across their surfaces. Jacob walking right to left, on 2 feet, across the flat ground, partially hidden by frozen puffs of smoke in the shape of dead bushes. Mold that grows in a minute after the annual sun shower, then freezes and would shape under the immediate return of relentless happy sunshine. At this point in his story life, Jacob isn't too concerned about bugs or bees crawling up his pants legs, or precious oxygen escaping through the flapping cuff gap we see here over his shoes. He's fairly relaxed, just another technician off for a walk in the desert.
As I walked, the BTV showed me the sights of past or future explosions. As I walked, the BTV showed me the sights of past or future explosions. As I walked, the BTV showed me the sights of past or future explosions. As I walked, the BTV showed me the sights of past or future explosions.
Jacob, still walking in the same direction, or the other direction, can't tell. In Hollywood, 30 miles west of here. Whoops, not that's Hollywood, or Hollyword. The map is a bit stained. Can't read it. Anyway, I got that one wrong. Let's go on. In Hollywood you're supposed to keep the camera on one side of the actors at all times. The idea being if I take a picture of your right profile, then out of random interest move the camera suddenly to your other side to take a picture of your left profile, then show these two shots in sequence in the cinema, everyone in the audience will think that you, star of my shots, suddenly turn to face in the other direction, for no reason at all. This will distract and confusing most of the paying members of the audience. The rotating BTV flies in darkness as if it were tracking him. Actually, this radio blinking tag is in the blood over his right ear, and it is tracking him. A dud missile, either tracking or identical with the BTV, hits the side of a tank. Metal fragments fly through the air. Fragments of graffiti from inside the tank. A few late model bullet cartridges. And a couple of Lincoln pennies. San Francisco mint marked. They stopped making those years ago. So it is somewhat strange that they show up in this shrapnel. Another dud impact, one after another, hoping by sheer braking force to get through the shell of the metal bug. Peacetime testing. Nothing raw red here, just sheer mechanics, without any of Mr. Nobel's dynamite. How to make a parked car crash. BTV flies from left to right. 20 times a second, it rotates the earth, humming, talking to itself, bored beyond description by the dark route it flies. Don't be fooled by its easy exterior. It is actually watching you, and make a false move. It will summon reinforcements in a minute. The tank in flames, as a live missile explodes. Or maybe the flames come through nozzles that point out of the tank. It sets itself aflame to dazzle you, and to burn off its disguise. When the fire burns down a bit, behind the red sparks you will see a profile in black and white, shot on grainy stock 100 years ago. This isn't a tank. It is actually the ghost of a Henry Ford Model T. The explosion repeated, folded up on a piece of space and placed in a pocket of the beat, who likes to collect such moments. Often, at the end of the day, the TV, resting upside down on a dark ceiling, or tucked into an abandoned comb, or gently resting against the bones of your inner ear, will pull out these scraps of moving space-time, and stare, watching the action over and over again. The compressed explosion extends wings. A new type of cinema experience, used in theaters that suffer from intersection with subspatial dimensions, or a surfeit of fourth-dimensional customers. At the end of the day, every night on the desert floor, tiny worlds hidden and shiny in each of the grains of muddy dirt that make up the earth floor here all try to send out spaceships or radio beams, trying to make contact one with the other. Hopping across the picket fences of their local community, trying to find friends or fiends or food out there, among the muds. Just at this moment, it is day. Not much is happening in the greater universe of the desert, at least in the direction we're looking, and all the little dust universes are asleep, protecting themselves from the light of our horrendous sun, too bright for us, and deadly for them. Jacob's feet again traveling through this desert. Step by step, frame by frame, careful all the time not to step on the crack between the frames. Jacob has a pretty simple method for keeping track of the number of steps he takes, as a safety precaution, so he can find his way back if he has to. 1 to 10, he uses his fingers to do that. After the first 10, he closes his right eye and counts to 10 again. Then he closes his right eye. 4:40, he touches his tongue to the room of his mouth and closes his left eye. Using such ticks, he figures he can count to 1,000,000, hopping on one foot, both eyes closed, elbows at his sides, tongue touching his back molar, etc.
I walked for many hours, engrossed by what I saw. I walked for many hours, engrossed by what I saw. I walked for many hours, engrossed by what I saw. I walked for many hours, engrossed by what I saw.
Mountains ringing the valley, matching the motion of Jacob's feet. An owl can be heard in the background. The kind of owl that can just keep rotating its neck without breaking a bone. The kind that flies in the middle of the day and eats the thoughts of mammals, not their tendons.
But eventually I awoke. But eventually I awoke. But eventually I awoke. But eventually I awoke.
Jacob walks along the panorama. He seems to have taken a part-time job, unlatching the mechanism in the morning, walking the treadmill that rolls it for the customers all day long, and latching it back up again in the evening. A blurred living desert scene from a distance, with two identifying rock domes in the background. Each is a burial mound, built by a race of rock-like creatures that lived on Earth temporarily in the late 12th century. Later they left to become the asteroid belt. Jacob, walking away from the camera through the dense shrub, lost his house keys out here yesterday, and though he wants to go home, he feels he can't until he finds them. Walking around and around in circles, no lunch, no dinner, no worry. However, he'll just keep at it patiently until they are gleaming right in front of him. He spends so much time on this last image that he doesn't actually pay much attention to the shape of the ground in front of him, and it is likely that if they did appear in front of him, he'd miss them. He needs a bit of help, which the bees will provide in a moment or two, our time.
I was afraid. I was afraid. I was afraid. I was afraid.
Jacob, further away, still walking. Let him go. Let's just pause back here and rest. We'll be able to catch up a bit later. Then, a sudden nap, and when we wake up, too many years will have passed and we'll really just be lost. Jacob standing and searching the sky, as the rock domes ring. Subsonics that ring every lunar hour, telling the time to the faithful, the faithless, and even to the deaf, who feel the noise, and can even gauge how far they are from the church by the place in their body where the ringing seems to be coming from. Jacob is now gone into the land, where he has an audience with various executives from the land of the dead. Hopefully, he'll make the deal and get that special place in hell. A Pershing missile drops to Earth from the moon. Jacob is standing underneath the missile tip, under the moon, and, yes, he is also under the Earth, all at once. The missile drops again. Same missile, different time of day. Or different missile, same time of day, someplace else. Each type of descent means something else to you, but it's all the same to that missile, who is just doing a job, and is trying to get it right. A metal tear is dropping, a sparse rain falling on the desert. Drip, drip, drip over and over again, driving the lizards and mice wild, towards a savage boredom which the visiting biologist will never quite fathom. The twin-domed empty landscape again. Fade to darkness. Day for night in the mind of Jacob, who is trying to keep his eyes open, though there isn't much to see.
I could see the dead, shaped like letters of the alphabet. I could see the dead, shaped like letters of the alphabet. I could see the dead, shaped like letters of the alphabet. I could see the dead, shaped like letters of the alphabet.
Jacob is the far end of a flag ribbon, and stares down its length. The back of his head matches the darkness. This allows easy access to all his deep and mysterious and sometimes happy thoughts, all of which are catalogued and boxed for later displacement into another body. A scribble alphabet version of the dead. A sort of C. Since the dead are often forgetting important things, basic things, like how to talk, to think, to tell time, the basic machinery of this place makes great efforts to surround them with reminders and organize them into didactic activities. Here, they dance gaily, repeating a localized version of the alphabet song, not as sung by children however, so maybe it would be better to call this tune the Alpha Z turn. The dead follow one after another. The next that appears could be an accidentally dressed up for Halloween. Years of letter dance class have perfected its technique, and moves with grace that a jet plane would admire. Free-falling, pirouetting, never leaving the ground, yet never touching it. The E dances on the right side of the screen, partnering the darkness. If you were there, you could feel the wind from two turning letters, this one in front of us, and the invisible partner. But appreciation of the dance doesn't require that you stand right in front of the performer. You can be 1,000 years away, and still feel the beauty, which brings up memories you hadn't heard from for years, and lets you understand them for the very first time.
They danced for me. They danced for me. They danced for me. They danced for me.
So many letters, one after the other here. You'd think you were in the presence of an actual word. Don't get to see many of those these days, now that the sun has set and the oil gone, and everyone whispering on the radio that the batteries will be the next to go. Obsessive detailed spins and arcs. These letters fall for 1,000,000 years, clustered with others of their kind, and all the while they obsessively attempt to perfect the spin of their fall, playing with shutters that take them away from the group, 1 meter away, 2 meters away. The others are all becoming somewhat dark and faint. Hey, wait a sec, wait for me. And then with a quick and certain counter shutter, sliding back to join the crowd. This is their entertainment. This is their meaning. This is what they do all day long, all night long, all year long. A hollow E hits center, and after that it is followed by so many more fake NS emerge spinning on their own centers, each carefully carried on individual separated triangular face of the BTV crystal radio. Must be some sort of news update. The watery deep is divided by swimming letter fish, who school around each other, trying to spell words that people can see and understand. A dark aquatic 3 or 4 or 5-dimensional Ouija board. One little letter sings a brave song, trying to find a high note that will distinguish it from the crowd, hoping this will get it permission to reproduce, make copies of itself which it can then dance with in more elaborate productions. Hexagons hiding in pentagons, one shape rolling into the other, bumpy wheels of a 4D car rolling along the dark highway that leads into Jacob's brain.
The BTV appeared among them. The BTV appeared among them. The BTV appeared among them. The BTV appeared among them.
A white pentagon that holds the life spaces of 5 spinning dead. This signboard pentagon rolls over itself to become a projected hexagon. But this is a temporary shape, which shrinks back into hexagonal form at the last moment. Jacob hopes this simply means it is trying to talk to him, but too shy to make clear words. Five E-shaped things wearing hats rotate outside the flat sides of a beat. The triangles holding these letters pull apart, to reveal many more identical inside. A flower crystal, filled with poisonous water.
I was traveling in the right direction. I was traveling in the right direction. I was traveling in the right direction. I was traveling in the right direction.
The moonbeam line flies through the triangle gaps, out to the dark space beyond the geometry. The tongue of an electric bee, talking in the dark, among the cells, expecting an answer soon. A horizontal missile flies out of some mobile launching device. It leaves behind a puff of smoke. The further away, the smaller it gets, until finally it is small enough to enter a cactus flower. Drink deep. The missile flies downrange, towards the vanishing point actually below the horizon. City lines and property lines skewed by flying gravities, whose perpetual motion violates the norms of physical space. Missiles launched 2 years ago are still traveling. Here, at Deseret they head towards the horizon, but they never get there. for various reasons, they never stopped going. On the BTV, we momentarily glimpse a target which disappears in orange flame from an accurate and exploding missile. Craters mark the angry moon, once target for similar practice in Earth's pre-dinosaur days. A left-handed cinerama BTV shows us Panorama des Surat, a horizontal land bounded by dark mountains push the edges of space, a brave land trapped in a box which people pay dearly to enter.
I woke on my feet, heading north. I woke on my feet, heading north. I woke on my feet, heading north. I woke on my feet, heading north.
Walking now in the other direction, disregarding the constant, please don't walk on the desert, signs that the observant and kind army has placed in a statistically advanced dispersal throughout Greater Deseret. The camera catches him in center frame, and, target in place, tries to catch him at center with a bug pin, but the pin misses, and hits the ground silently, quivering as long as an Olympic javelin in the ground right behind him. Of course, Jacob doesn't notice the whoosh or the plinging of the noisy mistake. That's why he's such valuable entertainment. A true Deseret comic. The bees cherish his blank antics. Jacob walks through the frame and into the darkness. He can't see what's there, but he thinks that any place with such a neatly shaped exit must have a chair right near the dark door, and he should be able to find it pretty quickly, stumbling through the local dark with his arms out straight. The soccer ball BTV in the lower left of the darkness. Rolling, 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 across the desert, tied by an invisible, unsever thread to Jacob's ankle. Jacob's foot comes into full frame, again the floating camera following his brown shoes, kicking something right in front of him idly. He doesn't feel the impact, it is just a game for him. But that little ectoplasm perched on his steel toe, enjoying the local static charge building up from the constant rub of Jacob's walk on the desert carpet, has to hold on to dear life, arms all the upper shoe, fingers holding on in the deep ridges of the soles beneath, where they are somewhat protected from the pressure of his step.
Less than an hour later, I came across an unfinished mud building. Less than an hour later, I came across an unfinished mud building. Less than an hour later, I came across an unfinished mud building. Less than an hour later, I came across an unfinished mud building.
Jacob seen at a distance through the brambles, walking towards the camera. The mountains are dim through the day haze. They slowly move forward with him, a great host following army Emperor Jacob in his march across Asian desert, towards the unfortified cities of Hungary and Estonia. Huns. Tsunami. A letterboxed frame, seen through a white-framed window and a mud wall, entered through a boxed picket fence gateway, which has an X and 2 flags above it. Island of the Orthodox, fractal subset of this island Earth, which, though an island, has lots of estuaries and peninsulas around which are clustered lots and lots of little islands like this one, which have fully functioning microeconomies, and often offer cultural sanctuary for the forgotten or forbidden or the out of place, or simply any sincere minority that manages to get there first. Through a square hole in the dark, Jacob walks on the brambles. Not regular brambles, but million-year-old brambles, which dried out after the last great flood, and have just sat here since in the windless air. One of the great lost treasures of archaeobiology, lost to the crunching feet of the unthinking. Living pixels have taken the shape of the mountains beyond, piling one on top of another in imitation of the geological processes that usually take endless time. Jacob never looks too closely at the landscape around him, so isn't aware that it has certain Potemkin village air to it. An X above the gate. Empty space beneath. Seems like this X got its foot stuck on a nail or flypaper a long time ago, but now it doesn't mind having to stay there. And the Christians living here find it a lucky emblem. But then they are brave bricoleurs. Jacob walks down the path towards us. Straight is the gate, to the subway, to the boiler room, to the airplane door. Anyone can pass through, all they have to do is pass through. Doors are ecumenical, even when deadly angels push you through, and filtering angels ask you intrusive questions based upon their knowledge of your previous calling patterns. Fluttering flags are visible. There's a little shrine in the background with a cross on top. Jacob saw the target, X shape, and thought that this might be a very good place to stop and rest, and maybe get a bit of advice. The wall-less house draws him in. No basement, no kitchen, just a library without a ceiling, without many books, a rough floor and lots of quiet. Here is a human place, where he can think, and where the demons of the desert certainly don't dare to follow him.